one. I think we're live. We live, everybody. Yeah,
Yes,
we are. We are back, everybody. Hello, we are back. Yeah.
We got a lot of news to discuss,
Yeah.
especially in the Senate.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So, for those that don't know, it's gone yesterday. We had some tragedy struck. You know, it sucks, but we are.
Pray for Rap. Pray for Rap. We hope he gets. We
Yeah,
hope his
so
life
yeah,
improves.
everything's getting better. It just sucks what happened, but you know, it's back to the regular content. But yeah, so I hope everyone is having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we're joined by Mr. Luke, Real Texan, and Mr. John.
Hello.
How dare you not? How dare you not have an emergency stream about Tina Smith retirement? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Of course.
Well, that's gonna be a video probably later today. But yeah, so I hope everyone's having a good day. We are gonna be talking about the Senate stuff because there's a lot of Senate retirements that came out of nowhere. We have to talk about the.
Well, not really a lot, just
Well,
one
there's.
one.
It sounds like there's a couple more.
God willing, Mark Warner is next, and then we get to run Youngkin.
He might be next, but. Now, before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. All great ways to support the daily content, and if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or just want to support the channel even further, best way is sending super chats via the chat. Again, everything as much chat as possible, and we have a super chat goal like usual. Yeah, it's like 20 or something, so send super chats if you want to support the content. All right.
I swear if Jim Rich doesn't retire, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, so we got a couple super chats to read through. A glitch Evie for 2. Did you see the Arizona swing voters poll? Yeah, I wanted to start with that actually. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's see. American Nerd for 2. Saw your video yesterday, Rap. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks, you know. That's life. So.
Trump is getting Assad pre-2024 margins in Arizona among swing voters.
We gotta talk with the swing voters because holy shit. American Nerd for 3. We're here for you, Rap. You're the best. Thank you. I appreciate the support, guys. Like, unironically, I do appreciate it. So, but all right, enough of that. Stuart Howard for 5. Hey, Rap. I'm in Ohio. I'm in Ohio. Really don't want Vivek as governor. However, I would vote for him if he was a nominee. Do you think he'd be a risky candidate? I think he wins. I don't see him really losing. He might underperform, but I think he wins by like 6.
If he becomes governor, think of it like a very interesting social experiment. Yeah. Okay, like that's why you should be encouraged to vote for him in the general over a Democrat.
Ohio is now our social experiment.
Yeah.
It is.
By the way, Drew,
like him being governor. Him being governor is the same as like Cash being leader of the FBI. It's a social experiment, you know.
Well, Cash is gonna clean house.
All right, so I'm gonna bring up a tweet from Drew Savicki from yesterday. This is about certain people in the Senate that are up for re-election that are very old. Jack Reed is 75. Dick Durbin is 80.
He's 80?
Yeah, he's been in the Senate for a long time. Ed Markey is 78.
Holy crap.
Mark Warner and Gene Shaheen are also 78. And Jeff Merkley is 68. Jeff probably gets another term, but because 68 is kind of young in the Senate.
If Dick Durbin retires, we should get Rodney Davis to come back and run for that seat. He'd be probably the best candidate.
Let's get that Rod guy, Rod Blatko or something. I don't know.
No, that dude is so hated in Illinois now. He's going to be ambassador. Also, he's banned from right now. He's only banned from running for state office, so he could run for the Senate seat. But still, that wouldn't be the best idea.
I mean, I was kind of joking, but like that'd actually be kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. We got a couple super chats to read through. K-Cub for 5. Prayed for you, Rap. God bless you, brother. May your future be filled with Trump level W's, mate. Go get the Dairy Queen Blizzard today with these supers. I might. General Hydra for 2. I just love that Kennedy's real family supports him. Well, yeah, his actual family, not his freaking like sisters and stuff don't, which is just stupid. But
oh yeah, Caroline disowned him.
Freaking losers. Like, listen, I don't care what you think with RFK.
Before we get in, I have to make a public service announcement. My channel got banned again, and I will not be coming back, at least for now. But follow my Twitter. I'll still be doing streams off Twitter. So at Lake Politics YT on Twitter. Thank you for letting me get the public service announcement out.
All right, General Hydra for 2. Yeah, I've read that already. But yeah, so should we start the focus group, or should we start with RFK?
Focus group.
Yeah,
Focus group.
so there was Axios released a focus group. They conducted a focus group of swing voters in Arizona, I believe, right? Yeah, Arizona. And it was 11 of them. Now, to be clear, all 11 of them voted for Biden back in 2020, then voted for Trump in 2024. So these are the actual swing voters that won Trump the election, right? At least part of them. Well, they asked these voters how they think Trump is doing. Is he doing too much and everything? And take a guess how many said they approve of Trump right now.
All of them.
There's 11 of them.
I've seen the poll.
Yeah.
I've seen the
I've seen
poll.
it.
11.
Yeah. All 11
Yeah.
of them say they approve of what Trump is doing.
Only one disapproved of what Elon Musk is doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Every single swing voter that voted for Trump right now, they're saying he's doing a good job. American Nerd for 5, Rap, who would be the best Republican candidate for the Minnesota seat? And whether Trump candidate picks are left to be confirmed, let's get it done already. The big one I think is probably education. Well, Kash Patel, obviously, but he's got it.
Yeah.
And then probably education. It's like the last major one, I'm guessing. So.
Oh yeah, another thing with Vivek becoming governor is like, do you really expect him to be a downgrade from DeWine? Like, I get that he's not like the best upgrade you could have, but like, he's not going to be a downgrade from DeWine.
Oh,
DeWine
he'll be better. He'll be way better. It's a question as to how, like, because he's a tech bro that's libertarian.
I'm interested. Okay, it's a social experiment, Rap. You just gotta let it play.
You'll probably see him bringing like Tesla or something to Columbus.
What I think he's gonna do, I think he's gonna emulate what Trump is doing at the national level, like have Ohio have their own Doge, which I think a bunch of states are gonna do. Like they're starting having their own Doge or something. What are you saying, John?
No,
the South really needs that.
Crazy.
The South really needs that.
In regards to the focus group, obviously you can't extrapolate a whole bunch from a small sample size, but at the same time, it completely matches with the other data that we're seeing. And I'm seeing very reliable data from a myriad of different sources saying that Trump has his highest approval rating he's had pretty much his entire political career, and also just in general that people approve of what's going on with Doge in spite of the Democrats rambling and screaming and thrashing.
I forgot who said this. I think it was who's a Republican that goes on CNN? What's his name?
Jennings.
Scott Jennings. Yeah, he's like, hey, maybe Democrats should be a bit worried about this because they threw everything at this. They banked everything on Doge and USAID. And right now, every single swing voter is saying, yeah, we approve what Trump is doing, and yeah, we love what Musk is doing as well. So, what does that tell you? That they threw everything they could at this one issue, and it blew up in their face already. It's been, what, 2 weeks? If that? And already it's blown to their face.
The emperor has no clothes.
Excuse me. I think they're still banking on like a major failure happening.
But the problem is, it's like, people understand that Trump is trying. And that's what you read here. It says right here, I gotta find it. One of the people said, yeah, right here. Someone named Courtney in the study, she said, I agree we need the Constitution, we need rules and procedures. But at the same time, how are we gonna make big changes? If someone like Trump is being unconventional, we need him to be doing these things, to be making these executive orders, and making these big changes for big things. So basically, a lot of people understand that, oh, wait, we voted for change. And for that change to happen, Trump has to do very controversial things.
We want a functional system. We want the Constitution to continue existing. We don't want the government to fall apart. But, like, if nothing gets done, then aren't we just doing the same thing we've been doing? That's what voters think.
Well, I mean, they voted for this. And Democrats can't comprehend this. The voters wanted this. The voters wanted significant change. But they really believe that, oh, if we attack the voters for voting for this and they didn't know about it, that would surely help us. Yeah, that's working really well.
You know what else the voters want? You know what else the voters want?
What?
They want Mornings with Real American to come back.
All right, Mike for 2. It's wild how much America has changed in the last 4 weeks. Yeah. I mean, look at all the big companies that have dropped DEI, for example. I know that's not everything, but like, I think Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, that is a massive W. Except Costco.
Costco's the only one, which if I'm the Trump DOJ,
yeah.
what?
And I'm participating in what in Nick Adams' boycott of Costco. You know, I
Oh,
never
sure.
shopped there to begin with, but
Yeah, who
I'm
I don't
shops
even
at
have a
technically
Costco,
membership.
participating.
honestly?
Yeah, I've been boycotting
The
because I don't even have a
Costco guys,
membership to begin with.
the Costco guys.
Well, here's my
That's
argument.
it.
It's like, you know what the Trump DOJ should do? Like, reward the companies like Coke and Pepsi that drop their crap, but punish the companies that don't. That's how you have
And
permanent
then the libs,
change.
and then the libs will boycott the companies that
Yeah. I mean, they're
know.
trying to with. Are they gonna really
Needs to get
boycott
the
Coke?
yeah. Trump needs to get the Costco guys to become the Sam's Club guys. That's
That's
what's
real.
gonna happen
So
until
true.
Costco can change its practices. You know.
All right.
Well, you know,
Oh, sorry.
people all over wanted to like believe in the myth that politics is downstream of culture, but unfortunately we can't believe that anymore, and nobody can actually claim that in good faith after understanding how much money flows through our political system to influence corporate culture. And now it's a mixture of Trump being in office, but it's also just simply the money being shut off. Everybody understands if they want to be back in good favor with the king, they have to change their
Yeah.
tune. So it's just no, culture is now to a great extent downstream from politics. If we win elections, we change the culture.
Yeah, and that's why Trump is going so, like, he's going all in on this stuff. Because he's
Yeah.
understanding now that
Well, it's just if you also it seems like Trump just dominated media this time because like it wasn't the mainstream media that people are using. Like all the new media, Trump just
he
dominated
just
on
wanted
that.
Joe
Like it's
Rogan.
even before the like no, because even before the election, it seemed like there was a cultural shift towards
Yeah.
Trump. You know, like
Well-
compared to 2020, and that's just because Trump utilized the new media,
Well, I
and
would
that also has a play on it.
I would argue there's one of two things why. For starters, because Trump is just, people know he's funny. Like, people laugh with Trump, and they refuse to accept that early on. But now it's like, oh wait, yeah, we love Trump's personality. And they love the fact how he acts and all that stuff. But I would argue the biggest reason is people realize that, oh, wait a minute. His policies are actually good. And the Democrats, they're just going off the freaking rails right now about, you know, promoting, like, diversity and crap and, like, doing nothing about immigration. It's like, but do they really think this is popular? Do they think this is a popular strategy? All right.
Most
you
popular on
you
blue skies,
had
most popular in real life.
And then you had all these influencers endorse Trump, which I think a lot of people don't realize. Like Joe Rogan, like a lot of middle-aged, like kind of people who don't care about politics watch him. So when he started talking like favorably about Trump, that did make a difference. Like this dude has millions of listeners to his show, you know. So that honestly did play a huge part.
Well, I guess the way to correctly navigate what you're all saying is that Trump was able to change the culture through politics by properly engaging with culture as an authentic artifact of Americanism. Everybody recognizes Trump, whether they love him or hate him, as American, probably the most American thing in America right now, Donald John America. And so they understand that if they accept Trump, they're accepting who they are, and if they reject Trump, and I'm not saying everybody has these thoughts. I'm saying this is just like something that's happening in the background. Everybody recognizes, well, like the Democrats are basically just rejecting being American at all. And that's part of why it's like so hard for Democrats to swallow this like tirade against like trying to reduce government spending, because it's like they don't actually care. They don't care about the money. The elected officials care about the money because it's the judges and it's them, and all of their infrastructure relies on it. But the voters that actually are their constituency, they don't care about the money. They just want the system to work. And so this is really bad for them right now. It's a terrible like place.
I got a couple super chats to
Yeah.
read. Samuel J for 2. Welcome back, Rap Easy Does It, brother. Thank you so much for that. American Nerd for 2. Rap Sam Brownback was Vivek of Kansas. I don't know about that. Inari for 5. See the Rasmussen poll showing first time in 20 years. Perception is we're going the right direction by +1. Yeah, for the first time in Rasmussen's history, more people are saying we're going the right direction than the wrong direction. So that
Pretty crazy.
listen, that just means people are realizing that we have optimism for once. Again, people understand that this is not going to change overnight. And that's what Democrats, that they weren't expecting that. They really thought, oh, people really think it takes 5 seconds for Trump's economic policy to go into effect. No, it takes years. And people, even the focus group, they're saying, yeah, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for Trump to fix this crap. So
Yeah, we got to remember too that this what was it? That Rasmussen, they were the guys. Trump plus two. You know, John Rose made the whole song about it. You know, the entire cycle they were saying Trump plus two, popular vote, and then they were right. They
Yeah.
were right in the end. You know.
Well, people make fun of Rasmussen, but like at American First Insight, which you should go follow, take a guess which way their polls lean. Everyone calls him a far right pollster. They actually lean to the left, on average. Which
well, yeah, and
especially
like,
their state polls.
Yeah,
Like,
the main reason it doesn't matter is because we're looking exclusively at Rasmussen's data set. So if their data set is biased, then they've had it on wrong track for a very long time, and it's finally gone right track. That's still positive trajectory if their bias has been the same. Now, the main thing that I would bring up with that is like, well, what does it mean to change into another political milieu? What does it mean that we're like changing into a new era? It means that over the past 2 decades, people recognized that there was something deeply wrong with the way everything was going, but people couldn't articulate it and people couldn't actually manifest it into political movements. So you had stuff like Occupy Wall Street, and you had the really cringy guys that like were doing anarchy stuff. You know, you ever knew someone in high school or middle school who like, you know, made the anarchy symbol on their notepad or on the chalkboard or whatever? You know, like those really cringe people from like the 2010s were just they're articulating there's something wrong with the system. We've now fully rejected the system and we're entering into a new system that's started by Trump. And that's why people think it's in the right direction. It's because it's like that is the shift. The shift is we all reject the old system and we embrace the new system. And that's what's happened. That's why Rasmussen's data shows that we're on the right track.
All right. Let's see here. Inari for 5. Oh, right there already. American Nerd for 3. How bad would Rahm Emanuel do as a Democrat nominee? I have no clue who that is. General Hydra.
He was the former mayor of Chicago, and he was Biden's ambassador to Japan for some reason. Yeah,
he was a pretty unpopular mayor too.
He was also the guy who blocked Chick-fil-A from building new stores after their like CEO opposed gay marriage. Yeah, he like blocked Chick-fil-A from building stores in Chicago.
All right, General Hydra for 2. General Hydra for 2. I respect Scott Jennings. He's only on CNN. But yeah, the thing with Scott Jennings is like he's the only one with a brain on CNN. I mean, these idiots, like, do they purposely hire the dumbest people to be around them? So, serious question. Do they just hire the dumbest people they could find off the street at CNN? And then Scott Jennings is just smart by default?
Sure, they had like hour-long discussions about how the Harris camo hats were gonna like shift the young men back to like 2018 levels.
K-Cup for 5. From 2016 to 2020, I was like, I'm not a Trump guy, but I like his policies. Now in 2025, I am like, hell yeah, Don, dance with that sword. That's my POTUS. Yeah, that's a lot of people now. A lot of people realize that he was right, and they got to support him. So,
They're loyal to Donald John America.
Yeah, Doggy Down Syndrome for 2. Should we primary Moody and Huston in 2026? If they don't do anything bad, just keep them. Tom Alto for 5. Rip your dog rap. I've been going through similar stuff personally, and this channel has been a good outlet to distract from life's BS. Praying for y'all. Thank you so much for that. Glitch Evie for 5. I think Biden winning in 2020, Trump running in 2024 helped the political right a hell of a lot because now you have a direct comparison policy. Yeah, it did.
Oh yeah, it did. Because if Trump had won in 2020, he would have barely won. Dems would have still had the House. 2022 would have probably been a blue landslide. 2024, like Dems would have probably run, maybe not Harris, but they would have run someone, and that person would be doing way better. The Dems would be remembered way better than they are now. I think Trump losing was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I'll say that. There's 2 things. For starters, the first thing is obviously people now realize that this is not the Democrat Party of Bill Clinton. It's not. Or even not even Obama in his first term. This is a different Democrat Party. They've gone off the freaking rails. Go on, John.
In 2020, people had a general like warm sentiment towards the Obama years because even though recovery was slow, they still just like felt good about who they were and like what the country was. And now when we get to 2028, they're not going to have the warm feelings of Obama that they had in 2020. They're going to have 4 years of things going pretty well under Trump, regardless of what like slip-ups happen or whatever mistakes are made. And then they're going to look back on Biden and be like, "Oh my gosh, I never want to be there ever again."
Yeah.
That's how they're gonna feel about it.
Like the fact that they put a literal dementia patient in charge of the country, like that's what people remember about Biden. I think that fact kind of got lost on people during the election, but I think that honestly shifted a lot of votes, just remembering that this party had put someone like Biden who obviously was not in a position to lead. We remember, I think that played a big part in the election. People are going to look back on that. People are going to remember that this party pretended this guy was there, like he was mentally there. It's
Yeah. I mean, Trump is 78 and he's doing like a press conference every day. I mean, look at yesterday. He did like 4 or 5 things. He did one with the
Biden did like 5 his entire presidency.
Yeah.
Like he barely did them.
Yeah, and like Trump was like talking to the president of India, which by the way, you guys, that clip with the H-1B visa
With the journalist. No, did you see the clip with the journalist where Trump was like, I can't.
Oh, that's pure Trump right there. I have no clue this guy's saying.
Can we talk about the Senate stuff?
Yeah, a couple super chats to read through. William Garrett for 5. Hey, Rap, I'm in Indiana, but when it comes to Vivek in Ohio, I think you do pretty well. Pretty good job. But we'll see it's a nice test as well. Yeah, it's a good test.
Yeah, I think people are overhating him. Because here's the thing. He sucks on stuff like immigration. But if you think he sucks on stuff like immigration, the best place for him is in a governorship.
Yeah.
Where, there's very little control over
Well, he could stifle, like, ICE operations, but I don't think he would.
So. He's not going to do that. His issue is legal immigration, not like he's never been bad on illegal
I know, but
immigration.
I'm just saying, like, that's what some people would think. Mike for 2. Scott Jennings, a neocon, he's good for CNN. Well, the thing with Scott Jennings is, he's a neocon, but compared to other neocons, he's a brain. So, like, I disagree with him, but at least he has IQ higher than 10. So, American Nerd for 10. Rap, I saw on Fox News while vacuuming the lobby of my work, and they showed a picture of Trump advisors of Rubio outside the Oval Office, and apparently Trump painted a copy of the mugshot there. Yeah, I saw that. There's just a mugshot right there.
Oh yeah, no, they put the mugshot specifically in a place where if you want to enter the Oval Office, you have to stare at it before you walk in.
Trump knew what he was doing with that one. I gotta pull that up. You just imagine, he just has the mugshot just sitting there. Gotta find it.
No, that's kind of like an FU. Like, if Dems ever have to, walk in, if Chuck Schumer wants to have a meeting with them or something, he's gonna have to see that, and be like, we lost to this guy, that's what's gonna. It's like psychological,
You saw a picture of Chuck Schumer with Dylan Mulvaney and Sarah McBride.
What? Do I even want to know?
Bro, I thought 2023 has been over for 2 years. What the hell?
Yeah, so, chat.
Why are we bringing back 2023 era culture war shit?
Yeah, I just realized, it's right at a spot where they have to look at it if they want to enter the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's just a pure FU to, Dems and stuff. We have to go to the Oval Office for meetings. It's like, oh, shit, we lost the freaking convicted felon. So, it's beautiful. This is a glorious sight. Let's see. All right. But yeah, so I want to talk about the Senate stuff because we had a pretty shocking retirement yesterday that came out of freaking nowhere. So,
Tina Smith.
Yeah, real text and explain what's going on here.
So basically, Tina Smith is retiring, and that's opening up a pretty divisive primary in Minnesota.
Please be Omar. Please be Omar. For the love of God, please be Omar.
Omar, you guys aren't ready for the Omar versus Royce White showdown. You're not ready for it, dude.
I am rooting for that so badly. Who would even win in that scenario? Would the nuke just win?
Turnout would be like 5%.
It would probably. I think Omar would probably still win, though, but it'd be like maybe.
Well, yeah, she'd win, but it would be very few people would vote. There'd be probably 300,000 more votes in the governor race than in the Senate race. It'd be horrible turnout.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. It sounds like, again, it's not confirmed. It sounds like the main people that could be running is the lieutenant governor. I forgot her name.
You
got a list on that?
Yeah, that's lieutenant governor.
You got a list on that?
Yeah. So, excuse me. Okay, so the only declared candidate right now is Peggy Flanagan. That's lieutenant governor.
Oh, she declared already?
What was that?
She declared already?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
like right
Well, it's
after
funny
the
because she's Tim Walz' lieutenant governor, but her and Tim Walz like hate each
Yeah,
other,
they
and
hate
Tim
each
Walz
other.
might also go for the seat.
Yeah, so Tim
So
Walz, central candidates. Angie Craig and Ilhan Omar have expressed interest.
Angie
Yes.
Craig is like the best. Angie
Yeah.
Craig is like the best Democratic candidate. Like she's actually a very good, like kind of performer. Like I think she overperformed Harris by like 6 or
Yeah,
something
6
like that.
points.
So
Yeah, she's very
yeah.
popular in like the southern suburbs of
So
Minneapolis.
she's the nominee right off the race.
Yeah, but
Don't
Yeah,
run Royce
safe
White.
she's the nominee. She's
I think if
basically
we
the
get
Trump star.
I think bring back Jason Lewis. That's my opinion. Bring
is he
him
still?
back.
How
He
old
did
is
pretty
he?
good. He's not that old. Like he ran in 2020 for the seat. So Jason Lewis. I don't think he's that old.
Yeah. So okay, the main people.
And
It's
also a couple notable names that have declined to run. Dean Phillips.
Yeah, he's only 70, which isn't that old in
yeah.
politics. Like
He
there's
wait,
way
what?
older people
Yeah,
too.
Dean Phillips.
Like
I mean, that kind of
Lincoln.
makes sense. He's kind of been disowned by the party for
Yeah,
running against.
he's already said he's not going to run again for anything.
And then Al Franken, who's the former senator.
Yeah,
for that
if he ever ran, he would get killed. He would get
Actually,
killed.
honestly, I think Democrats are more forgiving of him. Like the party itself probably won't. Like the party officials may not forgive him, but the people will.
I don't know,
The
but
Democrat voters still like him.
it would be funny though, like they actually run Al Franken, but
It's gonna be great. After Trump ends Ukraine war, gets a peace deal in Taiwan, we're gonna get 60 Senate seats.
that's real.
Manifest.
So it sounds like the main people, like Omar thinks, well, she may be deported, but we shall see. She might.
God willing. God
She
willing.
might be
Save until
deported.
after the election. Save until after the election. We should. You know what we gotta do? We gotta prop her up with those ads like Dems did to Mastriano in the primary in 22. That's what we gotta do in 26. We've got the money to do that now with Musk. We should be doing that. Run those ads trying to prop up the least electable Democrats. You know?
Yeah, because it's
Right.
not, the rumor is, I think it was the Daily Mail that caught wind of this, but apparently they've looked into it and they realized that, oh wait, she broke immigration laws. So listen,
Yeah, but we should do that with trying to prop up the most unelectable Democrats. Like that's what Dems did to us. We should do it to them.
I agree. And I just realized Royce White already declared.
Oh yeah, he declared like right after he lost in
Oh
2024.
God, we're gonna get stuck with Royce White versus Elon Omar.
And I don't even think he conceded. I think
If we get a competent nominee to run, Royce White's not making it through convention again. He only won last time. The only reason they let him get it last time was because no one was beating Klobuchar, so they were just like, let's run him for this, shut him up, you know. Like,
all right, Mike for 2. Why does Rubio always look depressed? Smile. Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah, he's depressed in this picture. He's always depressed.
I think he's just been black-pilled on so much of world politics.
Yeah, well, I think he realized how bad it was.
He understands more than any of you. You don't understand MAGA Marco. He's in his lane. He's set. He's confident. Don't diss him.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
well, I think, well, he's definitely had a very bizarre arc to say the least. I mean, you go from one of the biggest neocons in the Senate to one of the most MAGA Republicans out there. Just what?
He definitely talks the talk though, and he's walking the walk.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
he's gonna freaking Venezuela, Colombia, and like Panama, and saying, "Yo, give us the Panama Canal back or else," and they just give it to us effectively. But
Yeah.
American Nerd for 2. Minnesota GOP stay away from Royce White. He's not gonna win, I don't think. Thomas Baker for 2. Welcome back, Norm Coleman. He's not gonna run. There's no way Coleman runs again.
Norm Coleman, I think he has cancer and he's like very frail.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But his daughter-in-law might run.
Who's daughter-in-law?
Julia Coleman.
Why does this sound familiar?
She's a state senator.
Okay. All right. Marco's best secretary.
I reminded you of Jeremy Corbyn in the UK. That's probably what you're remembering.
Yeah. Marco's best secretary saved my lifetime. Oh, easily. By far. I mean, who else can compete with them in the last 20 years?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, gosh. All I could say is Benghazi. Enough said. That went well. American
Yes,
Nerd.
Queen.
Well, Yeah, well, the thing is with Rubio, I think he's okay for the position. I'd prefer if someone better had it, but he's probably the best we're gonna get. So I'm good with him.
American Nerd for
He's just a little too hawkish still for me, but he's still decent.
American Nerd for 3. If Rubio's exhausted for dealing with globalist hacks. Yeah, that's probably part of it. I mean, he's been in the office for like 3 weeks. He realized, oh god, these leaders are dumb. We have some of the world leaders are just dumbasses. It's like the EU. Do you guys hear about that? How Vance went to talk to the EU leaders and how absolutely deranged they sound.
Yeah.
Let me pull this
Dude,
up.
the EU sucks, man.
Yeah, they got
We need 50 million Muslim immigrants a year.
Yeah, I mean, Vance was just saying like, hey, you're throwing people in jail for praying. You're importing 10 million people a day at this point, and they attack him for saying, oh no, the war in Russia must continue. When even Zelensky wants the war to end. What should tell you everything, by the way. Zelensky wants the war to end, but these EU hacks, which are all globalists, they want the war to continue. What does that tell you about the EU?
They want a nation built in Russia.
Yeah.
They want Russians to have free elections.
The problem that JD
That's
came
old
across
reference. That's
was
old
that
one.
Yeah.
JD powerfully and eloquently described to them what they are supposed to be. And like they purport to be like defenders of democracy or whatever else, these globalists. He very expertly articulated what they are actually supposed to be according to their own words, and they got very offended because to them being defenders of democracy is just their power, their rule, their aristocracy.
Yeah.
Exactly. If they really supported democracy, they wouldn't have canceled that election in Romania.
Yeah. I mean, and also
it's just blatant how that election, they just canceled it.
The EU is ran by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats that no one knows about. You have no clue these people, they run everything. That's EU.
Yeah, that's why the UK left, because like that all these unelected people run everything.
Yeah, and when Farage is saying, yeah, I have no clue who the hell you are, and you run the EU, how the hell do you get elected here if no one knows who you are? But that's EU. That's always been the problem with it. It's like, the idea of the EU, in theory is not bad. It just, what happened was it got derailed by globalist hacks that want total control. I mean, the EU is ground zero for the globalist agenda. It is. And, well, they've control of the EU now. And that's why a bunch of countries want the hell out of it. But, anyways. I mean, like, do these countries really think they don't need America? I think that's stupid. Do they really think they can rely without us?
They probably think they can.
Also, Zelensky. No, it's so funny they say that though, because like when Biden was in office, they were like super anti-China. They were trying to put like this like moral grandstand. And they were like, we don't like what they're doing in Hong Kong. We love China. We hate them because they're helping Russia. But now when Trump's back in, they're like wanting to do all this business with China. And it's like, so you guys have like no principles. They have like no principles. They just change their opinion based on who's in the White House.
Over Trump.
Well, there's a very interesting dynamic happening. So we are seeing a very bizarre trend occurring where it's like usually American adversaries or historical adversaries like Russia, China, countries like that, it seems like we're getting closer to that, or they're getting closer to us, but the EU is moving away from us. Like Trump announced yesterday a pretty big thing. Like I gotta pull this up. This might be the biggest thing in our lifetimes. What Trump said about the military budget. Which pissed off certain people, so let me pull this up.
It's like, it seems like Trump does, like, and it's not just a quote from me, it seems like he genuinely does want to have a decent relationship with Putin and Xi of China. Like, he's trying to improve those relationships. He doesn't want to,
the important point about that isn't about him wanting warm relations with Russia and China. It's about the fact, and it's what the reporter kept asking him. He's like, "Are you going to invite the G7? Are you going to invite the G20? Are you going to invite? Are you going to invite? Are you going to invite?" The point is that he's willing to talk to Putin and Xi all by himself. He doesn't need the European partners. He's willing to snuff them out of the major international debate because they don't actually matter.
Yeah, they don't care.
And they
don't
hate
matter.
that. They hate the fact that they don't matter.
The countries that really will matter, listen, let's be honest, the United States, China, Russia, and India. That's it. The EU's a joke. No one cares. Like,
I've got doubts about India.
But Well, India has like the, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've got the most people, but the people live in the streets, and it's not like
I
a
know, but like
country
it's
that has,
India's
yeah.
like, you know. Anyways, yeah, thing.
Unless they have like a China 20th century type thing, India is going to be third world for a while.
President
They
Gilbert
they
Gideon.
ha-
Oh, sorry.
they have purposely made themselves irrelevant, and that's probably the most stinging and painful part about all of this. They don't want to accept this part of globalism and everything else. They've been ceding power and power and power, not just the United States, but to China. And they've been just letting it drift away from them all this time. And this is why Pete Hegseth and JD Vance and Trump are all saying, "Hey guys, you need to get your militaries back up. You need to build yourselves back up, because if they want if they want any semblance of sovereignty, or if they want to have any meaningful impact on the world stage, they have to actually buck up and do it. They can't just act like they can just sit there, oh, look, little monarchs on top of the world. No, they don't get to do that shit anymore. They have to actually matter. If you want to matter, you have to matter. You have to implement policy that matters. And they just don't want to do that. They just want to be given that privilege.
All right.
But they don't realize it just doesn't belong to them anymore.
I gotta read super chats. President Gilbert Giddy up for 10. I remember watching election predictions and always see neocons being picked as a nomination, like Nikki Haley. The VP pick was always Marco Rubio for some reason. Boy, those aged well. Well, Rubio was always a neocon like pick, but now he's not. So, K Cup for 5. My dad has a shirt that says the H is silent in Benghazi, but the H is the one from Hillary's 2016 campaign. Thanks to core memory rap, lol. Which, by the way, that whole investigation is a joke. Trump should reopen that one. The Benghazi stuff. Why not? If there's nothing to hide, just reopen it. American Nerd for 5. Did the EU and the US try to make Russia more westernized or something in the 90s, and it backfired so bad that it led to Putin in control there? Yeah, they tried to basically take it over. They tried to nation build in Russia when they were like weak.
Well, here's the problem, and this is why Russia ended up having a strong leader like Putin show up. The period of the 90s was this period of massive ransacking. Basically, like, Russia was run by their own mafia groups for about a decade. They would stiff people at like subway stations. They controlled how people moved and how people got to work. Like, so there was these mobsters in control of Russia, and while they were in control, a bunch of European elites and American aristocrats, they showed up into the country and just started eating up.
What? I didn't say
They started eating their cake everywhere. They were just basically, I mean, like, it's hard to say it's like anything but rape, and I don't mean that to be like a super Russian apologist, but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
We, like, the Soviet Union collapsed, and we just were like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna feast on your corpse, and you know, and after 10 years of that, Russia was like, well, we want to be Russia, so then they got Putin, and they've been trying to figure out what Russia is ever since.
Again, I'm not even saying Putin's a good guy, but like, it's like why people voted for Trump. There is a reason they elected Putin. Because Yeltsin was worthless as a leader. He literally bent over the globalists, and well, that's not popular in Russia, clearly.
Boris Yeltsin until like 10 years ago was like a punchline. Then he stopped being a punchline, probably because, you know, they realized, oh shit, Putin's like, you know, in our eyes, in the eyes of the, you know, the foreign policy blob and the media, in our eyes, Putin's the number one enemy, so we can't really do that anymore. But yeah.
I mean, people forget that Boris Yeltsin, he was never liked. His approval was like 6%. But now we're learning, you know, probably USA probably influenced that, but either way, it's like, that's just the sucky part. It's like, that's why Russia picked Putin. That's why they went with Putin. They didn't, not say he's good, but just because people are sick of it. They're sick of the system. They're saying, screw it. We'll elect this guy. Surely he'll be a very democratic person. Anyways,
you know, Russia's always run under some semblance of oligarchy, whether that was an oligarchy hiding behind an absolute monarch or, you know, anything else, and in an autocracy. But the oligarchs will continue to be safe in Russia so long as the people have this perception that they're working in their interests. So yeah, they don't really have democratic elections. It was funny, like, remember Tucker Carlson went there, and he was like asking like one of like the associates like how they felt about the upcoming Russian elections, and they were like, "Huh? What election?" So like they don't care about it. They don't think about it.
They have the funniest type of free elections though, because like technically there's nothing stopping you from voting for opposition candidates, but there's also nothing stopping groups of totally not government funded like mass men from coming and like beating you up after you vote a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, like so it's funny the way the system works because it's not like the police will arrest you, but like randos will come and like attack you
People
pretty
understand.
much.
I mean, like, yeah, and chats like talk about how the Russia has historically been strong leaders. Russians love strong leaders. They don't like
Yeah.
clowns like
Putin is
Yeltsin.
like Putin's popular in Russia. Like people don't even care about like that he's a dictator. Or whatever. Most countries don't care about democracy. This is something that like the libs like just don't
It's
understand.
white resist liberals that are
just
like they don't have to worry about like working their lives.
Well, they really don't care about democracy, and all like this is a bit of tangential, but when I read Peter the Great's life, he's the guy that basically made the Russian Empire with the Russian Empire, and Peter the Great, like he had servants helping him build St. Petersburg, and like some Westerner came up and asked the servant, and he was like, "This is all really grueling, hard work. I mean, like, don't you want to be happy?" And then they were like, "I thought happiness was for the emperor. I'm just here to I'm just here to die and go to heaven."
Yeah, just that's
or no, like actually no, I got it wrong. It's like the guy was like, "I thought heaven was for the emperor. I'm just going to die."
Well,
Like,
that's the Russian philosophy. You can't change that overnight. That's been like that for 500 years.
No, and
It
it's
takes a
like
very
when
long
the
time.
U.S. thought we could put like a liberal democracy in Afghanistan and Iraq. You know, like
And they want to do the
it's
same in Russia.
It takes a very long time to go from like a third world country to like even a second world country. It took China 40 years. It's probably, I don't know if Brazil's ever going to become like a first world country. Probably not. It's going to take Argentina at least 20 years, and they have only 40 million people. It's going to take India like 50 years minimum,
Oh,
probably a bit longer
Oh,
to
no,
become even
100
second world.
probably.
more like yeah, it's gonna be a couple hundred before India gets its
Yeah, we'll
gets its
all
shit
be
together.
dead before
Second
that.
world, not even saying
Gets its
first world.
shit gets its shit together. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, it took Singapore, and
Actually, pun
Singapore is a
intended.
small country with only 5 million people. It took
But
Singapore 20 years.
again, does it all not ring hollow? What is Russia trying to advance towards if they want to be democracy when they look overseas and or not even overseas, over across the continent? Romanians' elections get canceled. Germany tries to ban a political party. The UK police and censorship try to prevent anybody from complaining about Muslims in the UK. So all across they see quote unquote democracy, and it's not working, functioning very different from Vladimir Putin's own oligarchic reign. And so the Russians look at it and they're like, well,
What's really different?
why do we want to be like you? Why? Like what exactly?
The only difference is in Europe, the colors of the leaders, like the colors of the parties in charge, change every 2 to 5 years.
Yeah,
That's the only difference.
That's
from
actually
them to
good
Russia.
talking, but that's actually a good point. It's like the parties change. That's
Colors change on a map.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, you know.
All right,
and that's JD's point. If you like, that's what he said to all the world leaders, to the European leaders. He said, "Look, if you guys want to be democracy, then you need to be democracy. You need to actually behave as if you believe in
I'm
that,
gonna just send
rather
something.
than
I'm gonna
rather
send
than just using
something
it."
on general. You guys read it. Yeah, it's a real fact, by the way. This is
Peter,
not fake.
Who posted this?
Peter Nimitz.
Oh,
So there were
yeah,
there were
Nimitz,
15.
yeah.
There were 1449 prosecutions, and 98 convictions for internet speech in Russia from 2008 to 2017. So that's like almost a 10-year period. By contrast, there were 1696 persecutions and 1400, or rather 1399 convictions for internet speech in the UK in 2016 alone, despite the UK having a population that's like half of Russia.
Now, I'm not. No one's saying that Russia's. No one is.
The funny thing is, though, like in Russia, like they don't have free speech by any means, but a lot of it they just let go off the hook because of how incredibly popular Putin is. So like if a rando in a bar is just yelling, "It's terrible, I don't like him," like no one's gonna take that seriously. So the government doesn't waste time like prosecuting that guy.
All right.
If someone in England went into that bar and was screaming about, "I don't like transgender,"
Yeah, your mic sucks, Luke. Luke,
your mic's crapping out, Luke.
Yeah, Luke, your mic's garbage. All right, let's see here.
Is it back to normal?
Lord Rhino for
No.
5. NATO, except the U.S., should have a 1% of the population of the armed forces who would force Europe to fund their own militaries. Well, yeah, we'll get to what Trump said yesterday about the military. American Nerd for 2. Was Yeltsin known as a drunken fool? Yeah, he's drunk all the time. Colton Lang's been a member for 3 months. Samuel J for 5. How will we see on a practical level with RFK Jr. leaving HHS now? He spoke with radical transparency, but what does that look like? Well, for starters, he wants to reform the what's that for like vaccine injuries? What's that called? Like VARs, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like, again, he's not trying to start conspiracy. He just wants to say, okay, we want to make sure this is up to date and people actually know if what's actually in like something, if it's safe, like that. He's not trying to start a conspiracy. He's not saying it should be banned or whatever. People should just know what the science behind it is. So, Cherokee Bear for 2, McConnell for no. I don't like McConnell, but no. American Nerd for 3. If Yeltsin wasn't popular, how was he reelected?
Oh my goodness.
Heh.
Oh, my sweet summer child. I look up 1995 elections, like when you go to the Russians, Yeltsin literally, orally, explicitly asked Bill Clinton for help to win the election.
The USA back then was doing this crap.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Look up USA.
Remember that one time Yeltsin went to that grocery store in Houston?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which,
American
by the
Nerd,
way, that grocery store recently closed down for good.
American Nerd for 5. Rap, what does a Finstad versus Omar race in Minnesota for the Senate race sound to you? That could be the best chance for us, maybe. Omar would lose. Omar is just very unpopular, so.
The best case scenario for us is probably like Fishbach versus Omar. Worst case scenario is probably Craig versus Royce White.
Lord Rhino
Angie Craig would probably be the next Klobuchar, but anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Lord Rhino for 10. You can't force democracy on the nations. A country has to do it naturally, whether that be through revolution or the country collapses, rebuilds into democracy. Exactly. That's why it's like, oh yeah, you put a like freaking Iraq. You have a strong leader like Saddam Hussein there for God knows how long, and you think the people want a liberal democracy when they want a strong leader.
I don't care what they want. We're going to give it to them anyways because
this is a reality. This is a reality neoconservative forced onto us, which was to realize that not every single culture and group of people across the world can actually function in a democracy or be democratic. And that's like ultimately what people need to stop and realize is, well, if other countries can't accept democracy, then we can't just magically import people and let the magic dirt turn them into, free democratic peoples. Like that, they're not. That's not how the world works. That's not how people work. That's not how culture works. And if they ever want to become a democracy, sure. But like, I don't even think Russia's suited to that kind of government. Honestly, if you're gonna I'm gonna be really honest to you, I don't think those people are suited for it, and neither do I think the Han Chinese are either. So they're gonna have a different kind of government, and we should just let them be, and we should focus on our own government.
Cherokee Bear for 2. What if Michelle Bachmann ran for Senate? Is she even relevant anymore?
I
mean, how long has she been in Congress for?
Like 10 years at least.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe, I guess, but yeah.
Already 10 years. Yeah, I think she's probably retired.
Yeah, so I do want to, speak of the military stuff, there was a shocking proposal Trump pushed yesterday, and I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this. For those that don't know, Trump was announcing new tariffs yesterday, which that alone is huge. It's, again, I mean, he listed what was going on here. Freaking China had like 15-20% tariffs on us. India doing the same thing, which, by the way, I love the fact the president of India is right there. He's like, yeah, we're going to announce new tariffs on India. But that's what he did. He announced new tariffs, but the biggest thing he pushed for yesterday was apparently Trump is going to talk with China and Russia to mutually draw down military budgets by 50%. One of the first meetings I want to have with President Xi of China, President Putin of Russia, and I want to say, let's cut our military budget in half. He wants to cut the military budgets of the USA, China, and Russia in half. What do you guys think about this? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? What?
Would they even do it?
That's the question. Would Russia and China do it?
Well,
I don't think they'd be willing to do it unless we did it.
For the past several years, Russia's been like implementing the military spending, defense spending into its economy, just like how the U.S. has. And so, like the defense spending is part of their own economic work, and China has been gearing up to gain more influence across the Southeast, the Pacific, and you have to sit there and wonder, like, you're asking both of these countries to abandon a lot. This is a probably one of the biggest gambles Trump has even like proffered forward in this first month of his presidency. It's kind of
Well,
it's bizarre to look at.
Wait, is my audio good?
yeah,
Yeah.
but
I gotta say this, Rap. Even Boris Johnson, who's like the most pro-Ukraine guy on the planet, has endorsed Trump's proposal.
are you serious?
Yeah,
So what the hell are these assholes in the EU talking about then?
yeah, like even Boris Johnson is in favor of it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, if he's in favor of it, I mean, that's, oh my gosh. And the war. Zelensky wants it, Putin wants it. Why the hell do these assholes that you want the war to continue? I mean, this is
Because
stupid.
again, they want to nation build in Russia. They want to word Putin,
That's true.
overthrow him, install a new president or whatever, probably a globalist president, and God knows what else.
Yeah, so-
Oh yeah. I think they just want control of, like, the grain production and
and
everything
then probably
else in Ukraine.
force like LGBTQ and Islamic cultures into the country.
yes.
Like, what we've been letting happen is like we've been functionally letting the EU as an empire in itself expand with our taxpayer money, and they're very upset by the prospect of actually having to contribute work into their empire building. So
Oh yeah, and they probably also forced Russia to join the E EU.
Yeah, so, but yeah, this whole idea with the Trump idea, what I think's gonna happen is, I think we're gonna see some disarmament with like nukes and stuff. That's what I think to be the big push, because I
Yeah.
think everyone's kind of realizing that, oh wait a minute, we got way too close to a war with Biden. We need to cool things down now. So what I think's gonna happen is they're gonna start with denuclearization, like get rid of nukes and stuff, and I think they're going to, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I think Trump is going to strongman China and Russia into cutting their military budgets. We'll do the same, because it sounds like he wants to do for all three.
okay, yeah, that's true. But he doesn't have to do a whole bunch to do this gamble, and that's why I said it's a gamble. It's a high risk
Yeah.
gamble that Trump is setting forth, and think about the proportionality of it. So yes, it is really ridiculous to ask China and Russia to cut their military budgets in half. But when you think about how much more we spend on military than they do, how much larger our spending is, when we say cutting in half, we're sacrificing a lot more in terms of military than they are when we cut our defense budget. Now, of course, we may be able to. I think Trump might be thinking, "Oh, well, we'll get rid of fraud and waste and abuse, and we'll be able to deduct the budget that way." But like at the end of the day, we're taking a bigger cut than either of these countries are. So he's offering something really big to China and Russia in exchange for them basically chilling the F out.
Yeah, I think
It's really crazy.
I think that's what's going to happen. Is like everyone's like it may not be 50%, but what do you think's going to happen? The U.S. is going to find so much fraud from the Pentagon. I mean, listen, when was the last successful audit of the Pentagon? Ever?
Pre 9/11, probably.
If that. So that's what think's happening. I think because they're going to audit the crap out of that. Which, by the way, Elon Musk and Trump better have extra security for that one. But I do think we're going to see a lot of fraud and abuse because, like, these military contracts. Why the hell are they suddenly still around? Like, don't we spend like, what was it? They exposed like $2,500 per coffee cup or something.
I seriously hope Elon Musk has good Secret Service.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has. I think he does. Because everyone knows you touch a Pentagon, you're probably gonna end up in the lake somewhere. But
well, I mean, even the leftists want him, like yeah.
Yeah, remember when the left were anti-war and they were like military, and now they support the military-industrial complex.
I'm also talking about like the Luigi types.
But yeah.
Mario Luigi.
Yeah. Quote the legs for 2. Jonathan Irons is correct that COD Advanced Warfare, a glitch EV for 2, the APs have banned for the Oval Office. Good. I mean, if they're just be a joke organization, we'll treat you a joke. Get out of here. Mike for 2, the left would love this move. W proposal, by the way. I think some would. Like, I believe Congressman Kahana, I think it's supported this. So, maybe a couple. Tony Vatilo stand for 5. What's the best / most transformational Trump cabinet pick and the worst Trump pick? I would say it's probably either Hegseth or Tulsi Gabbard for the best pick, most transformational. The worst pick is probably the Raymer. I don't think she's a good pick, but
I
that's
don't
just,
Yeah,
even know.
Grammar's not
She
good.
might be like the one that doesn't get confirmed.
I don't know. She has they're finding a lot of bad stuff on her, so we shall see.
I mean, honestly, I probably would support switching her out for somebody else that's still pro-union, but not,
But the problem is like that's who Teamsters wants. That's a problem. So
All right, well then, let them get a backup or something.
yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I think it's either it's obviously Hegseth, RFK, or Tulsi Gabbard. I say Hegseth because, I mean, how much fraud are they going to find in the Pentagon, and how many of these people would get rid of that should not be there? So we shall see. RFK for obvious reasons, Tulsi Gabbard for obvious reasons. Kash Patel's up there too. So, all right, we need the military, but audit the whole thing. Well, yeah, I mean the fact they can't pass a simple audit. They've never done so. I wonder why. Let's pick the one or the other. We want to be pro worker union but anti-government worker union. I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, so what do you guys think about what Trump is doing so far, like RFK and stuff?
It's good. I like it.
I mean, we haven't even begun to see what RFK will
Yeah.
do. It's like I think Hegseth will be transformational. I think Tulsi will be transformational. I think Cash will be transformational. RFK will be transformational. And if Trump is doing more than bluffing with all this other stuff, he is going like think about how popular the idea of like lowering the defense budget. This is stuff that leftists and liberals were whining at me about for 15 years, like before I could even like think about politics straight, like being like a teenager in middle school. Like I've heard about them whining about lowering the defense budget forever, and Trump's offering this drastic decision that would, Republicans won't be happy, but they will accept it, knowing if Russia and China agree to lower their defense, you'll have a lot of whining in journos, but the Republican Congress will like accept it. This is an insane move.
It's ballsy.
Everything that's going on. I don't know. We're living through interesting times. Did you want interesting times? Did you want interesting times, ladies and gentlemen?
That's where we're getting
That's
right
where
now.
you are, and I'm at a bit of loss for words. It's going to take some time for me to process exactly what's going on.
But it's like, it's like, that's how you, by the way, you fix the deficit. The military budget's way too high. I've always, like, I want a strong military, but I'm sorry. We really need $800 billion a year when China spends $70 billion?
Breaking news! Breaking news! We have a new poll out of Georgia.
Yeah, I just saw the Qantas Insights.
Qantas, Chem Plus free.
Okay, let me pull it up. American Nerd for 2. Who's more corrupt, the Department of Defense, FBI, or CIA? All the above. Just all the above.
I mean, they're all corrupt together. They're all working together to be corrupt. So it's like, well, that's a hard question to answer.
That's the deep state right there.
By the way, do you see the WHO tweeting about the Duolingo bird?
I saw that.
Because there was some publicity stunt where Duolingo killed off their mascot. And then you have the WHO tweeting about it.
What a joke. American Nerd for 3. If Vance becomes POTUS, would he keep these picks? Yeah, I would say he keeps most of them.
And
I think that
the Trump administration has... Oh, yeah, sorry, I gotta say this. Trump administration has banned the Associated Press from the Oval Office and Air Force One press bases.
Wait, they actually banned it? I thought that was a joke. Wait, they actually did?
Yep,
Yeah.
banned.
The premise they used was that they refused to use Gulf of America, but we all know the real reason. We all know the real reason AP is being banned.
Fake
But we
news.
found an excuse.
Well, now they should go after Reuters now, but hear about that? The freaking military was giving them money for like, what was the exact reasoning again?
There was a $9 million grant given to Reuters for, I quote, large scale social deception.
I wonder what that's for. I wonder why they gave them $9 million. I got pulled up. I think Musk tweeted that. Actually,
He did.
I gotta pull that up. Reuters.
Whenever you find it, it's on the bottom right of the picture he quote tweeted. It's large scale social deception.
Musk. When did he tweet it? Musk Reuters.
Must
Oh,
have
they
been
also the
yesterday.
Qantas poll also has a job approval. Kemp is plus 33, Ossoff is plus 13.
Holy
But
crap.
Kemp has more universal name recognition in Georgia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Kemp's gonna do fine. He's gonna be fine.
yeah, so Trump posted this, and then Musk, I found the thing. So it looks like radical left Reuters was paid $9 million by the Department of Defense to study large-scale social deception. Give back the money now. I mean, this is why we got to cut the budget. I mean, this is the Department of Defense. Why the hell are they spending money on this? For social deception. Why are they giving Reuters $9 million?
Democracy.
Democracy. And that's what we know about, because we're talking with the DOD, the FBI. They have blank checks. You have no clue where the money's going. So it's probably way more than this. This is what they're being honest about.
All right. And the Space Data Republican, it was in yesterday. If you guys remember, Data Republican is the woman doing a lot of the exposing. What she was saying basically is that the way that this system works is that, it's originally was intended so that taxpayers' dollars could be counted for. But since they throw it through all these organizations, at some point, like the recipient's organization can claim, well, we don't have taxpayer dollars. We just have it from the organization of the organization of the organization of the organization that gets taxpayer dollars. So they can like claim that they're not getting taxpayer money when it really is just taxpayer money funneled through like 10 different corporations or organizations. Yeah, it's just really bad. And yeah, that's why it all has to come to an end. I also wanted to mention, I posted it just earlier in general. President Donald Trump is about to sign an executive order defunding any schools that have COVID vaccine mandates.
Interesting.
All right.
I mean, that's gonna be the one thing that I'm very curious about, because I think Trump also established a health commission, I think yesterday, also, with RFK in charge.
No.
So,
Good.
I mean, I'm very intrigued what RFK is going to really do, because we're now like, there's going to be a bunch of controversial studies. They're going to be probably coming out the next couple of years. I'm curious how they're actually going to handle it, because beforehand it's like, if there's a study that like went against a narrative, they just threw it out. But now it's like, do they listen to it? Do they actually listen to the science or what?
Well, it's really interesting, Trump's tactic here, because usually you just nominate someone and put them in charge of a department. But instead of that, he's accompanying it with executive orders for a couple of these picks. It's almost as if he's going, look, if anybody tries to give you crap, this is by an executive order.
Yeah.
And so he's like granting the authority of the presidency to every single nominee that needs it to accomplish their goals, which gives me very high optimism for the seeing results soon.
That's why he's the health, because now the health commission, you can say RFK is both like a cabinet pick and he's a czar now. He's a health czar. Which I think that was always a plan. But now it's official, like he can do whatever he wants. Which, by the way, speaking of RFK's cabinet pick, why the hell did McConnell vote against him?
McConnell just wants to maintain his social connections. He has a relationship with people in DC, a lot of Democrats, and you saw it like with the first time when he voted against Hegseth, like, all the Democrats are giving him little high fives. It's because he has friends and he wants to keep his friends and he cares more about his social life.
You're talking about McConnell? No, he's just a bitter, resentful, spiteful asshole.
Here's the way I see
Oh yeah,
it.
no, yeah, he is a bitter, spiteful asshole. That is very true.
Oh yeah, true.
I just also think.
Let me talk. Here's the way I see it. So I think what's going on is basically, so if he's retiring, he basically wants to do this to just basically spite Trump for the rest of his term. Or if he is running for re-election, then he's trying to appeal to Democrats to get votes in the primary.
His favorability is like 2% right now. If that. It's probably below 0 at this point. Like how Trump says about Chris Christie, his numbers are below 0. McConnell's numbers probably below 0 at this point. No one likes him. So I don't know how that's going to work for him, but...
If Mitch thinks he can get Democrats to save him in a primary, he's R-worded. YouTube.
Well, I mean, like, this is McConnell. It's like he's burning his legacy. Like, his legacy in quotation, like, the whole, like, Supreme Court stuff. He is throwing that all away to spite Trump. That's the only reason he's doing this. Just to spite the orange man. Which, it's like, the same thing with McCain. Remember that? The whole healthcare debacle? Where he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to vote to save Trump's bill, but then I come from Arizona, like, I'm dying. And you vote no? When you say you're going to vote yes on it? I mean, how do you describe these people? Like, they're beyond scumbags for, like, lying to leadership about voting yes on something, voting the opposite. It's dumb. It is very dumb.
I can't get Civics data because it's behind a paywall now.
Yeah, I'm curious now. What's his favorability now?
Well, overall it's 6.
What?
Overall, his approval rating is 6.
Bro, that's bad.
Now, originally you could see, how it was along party lines, but lately Civics has put it behind a paywall.
That's dumb. Why is it behind a paywall?
Money.
But I don't think that's how that works. Anyways.
They want your money. That's what it is.
Yeah, I found the tweet about Trump actually banning the AP. That's freaking hilarious. Good. Screw the AP. Go after Reuters and go after Politico. Give us the money back. That money was illegally spent. Give it back. All right.
Oh, yeah, and you have to contact inquiries at civics.com for plans and pricing just to see additional data.
That's just a scam. We don't do that American First Insight. Like, yeah, we're going to have a membership thing soon, but we're never going to do that. It's like, you get the data for free. None of this crap of, oh yeah, it's behind 13 paywalls just so you can barely see it. And it's like not even all the data. It's like one thing.
I could probably find another approval rating poll.
Try 538 maybe, with favorability.
538.
All right, I gotta talk to Mark about that actually. Maybe adding favorability for McConnell, because I'm curious now. But actually, is anyone pulling that anymore? Because he's not the majority leader now. I wonder.
They might not be anymore. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm curious though. Like, is he below like 1%? We shall see.
I'm trying to look.
All right. Let's see. McCain is the reason a bunch of boomers in Arizona became Democrats. Well, yeah. John Kinney for 5. Hey, Rap, do you think Pete Hegseth may run for president in the future? I know he has personal issues, but he's charismatic. Keep up the great work. No, he's not. He's just be the Secretary of Defense, which I think he's doing a good job at. And yeah.
All right, RCP is Mitch McConnell at a 20% favorable.
I call bullshit. I call horseshit.
Yeah, I think it's a lot lower than that.
Yeah,
I probably believe Civics.
It was 20% like 4 years ago. It's probably lower. It's like 10% now.
It's probably like I said, it's probably 2% at this point. No one likes.
I mean, the latest poll is Economist YouGov, which has him at 18.
They're full. When was that? Was that the new one?
January, right before Trump got inaugurated.
Yeah, the Economist is bullshit. Like, they're the only poll that found Trump a negative approval. They're full of shit. So, American Nerd for 5.
It's really funny how we were expected to believe that these people are motivated by principles, when in reality they're just motivated by personal spite and pettiness. Yeah. They're not motivated by principles. Like, McCain wasn't, Romney wasn't, and McConnell certainly is not. They're motivated by personal spite. They're not principled, and neither are like the people at the bulwark. They're motivated by personal spite, not principles. And you should never take them as, positions of moral authority ever.
Did McConnell vote for like every single one of Biden's cabinet picks?
Pretty much most of them. Not all, but most of them, yeah.
So he votes for them, but he's not going to vote for Tulsi Gabbard or RFK.
Okay, I found it on YouGov.
So 2 Democrats? It's like, this freaking hack's unbelievable.
All right, from YouGov, I'm on Trump voters. Mitch's approval rating among Trump voters is 24%.
Bull fucking shit.
That's fucking high. It should be more like
bullshit.
2%.
No, only 5% that are very favorable.
Yeah, that's probably total, but anyways.
Unfavorable is 62.
It's way higher than that. American Nerd for
I
5
think
rap.
have to be old figures. Yeah, go ahead.
American Nerd for 5 rap. I heard that Nicole Shanahan is now an advisor for RFK and HHS. Does that mean she wouldn't be able to run as independent as for California governor? I mean, I hope she does, but it's probably the sheriff for that one county. What's his name?
Didn't Rick Grinnell threaten to run against Kamala Harris in California?
Yeah.
Nah, that was funny.
Yeah, it's like, you're gonna get killed, dude. American Nerd for 5, Reiki from Reuters. Mexican President Scheinbaum has threatened to sue Google if they don't revert if they do not revert the name of Gulf of America back to Gulf of Mexico.
I'm pretty sure it's still labeled as the Gulf of
It
Mexico
is.
in Mexico, but
Because
she wants it that way labeled in America,
America
which
can
she
call
has
it whatever they
absolutely
want.
no control over.
Just
You know, it's not even her country.
Trump threaten her with tariff again, and she'll say, "Oh yes, Gulf America's a great name." That's what he has to do to these people.
I mean, I think she still wants to be seen as like the strong, powerful woman leader
She got
among
freaking she
among the
folded
Gen
within
Z.
5 minutes. Which again, I can't believe people actually thought that she didn't, but she did.
Yeah, it's just whining. Wah.
All right.
The Gen Z liberal women in America love her, though. It's actually kind of hilarious.
Let's see. Does he even think Dems will vote for him just to save him? No one's gonna vote for the guy. There's not a single person that likes McConnell anymore. So, yeah, he's gonna get killed in the primary. I mean, I think he does worse than Liz Cheney. I really think that he's gonna get below like 5%. How much did Cheney get? Like 20?
Yeah, and that's all from Democrats.
Yeah, I think he gets like 10% at most.
Now, I mean, technically, I think Wyoming had closed primaries, but everyone there just registered as Republicans.
Yeah.
That's why the Democrat primary in Wyoming had a horrific turnout. It's because all the Democrats just voted for Liz Cheney.
Yeah. Which should tell you everything. I mean, if it was only Republicans, like actual Republicans, she probably got like 5%. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just tariff her. Which, speaking of tariffs, so Trump announced the reciprocal tariffs yesterday, which, you know, I always wondered this. You know how people say tariffs are so bad? Like they're a bad economic thing? So if they're so bad, why the hell did every country on Earth tariff us? With, like, insane tariff rates?
Because it's different when they do it than when we do it.
No, seriously, I'm asking. These supposedly, like, economists, these experts, they come on the woodwork and say, tariffs are bad for the economy, it's going to crash everything. But freaking you have, like, Canada with, like, a 400% tariff on eggs, you have, or milk or whatever. You have, like, the EU tariffing us, like, 20% of cars. It's like, wait a minute. All these countries are doing just fine economically, but they tariff the shit out of us.
So here's the premise. The premise of like US remaining free while everybody else does tariffs is that because we're so much freer, our economy will go under creative destruction more, will grow faster, then they will ultimately fail and lose. And they have data points to point to try and support that consensus. And it is true. You know, it wasn't true 10 years ago of Canada. It's true right now. It's definitely true of Europe. We like people in Alabama and Mississippi are richer per capita than the average EU citizen. So it's one of those things where the people that promote free trade as an economic policy, that's just what they argue is that, well, it doesn't matter that they do tariffs. As long as we refuse to do tariffs, we'll continue creative destruction. We'll continue having the best economy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, well, the problem is the whole economic data points are bullshit.
Yes, I honestly found it shocking when I discovered a couple of years back that the GDP per capita of Mississippi is higher than that of South Korea.
Yep.
Yeah, but I will argue this. You know, and I know people
One of the
get a lot
most
of shit for this.
technologically advanced countries in the world has a lower GDP per capita than Mississippi.
Okay, now I understand. I understand the argument, but here's what I'll say about this, and I know a lot of people are gonna be shit for this. For starters, I don't think GDP is a very misleading stat. It is.
Yeah.
So GDP per capita is what really matters. GDP is like it could be anything.
But the problem with GDP, like GDP per capita, is like GDP itself is flawed. It's a flawed metric. So GDP.
Like if GDP per capita is the thing that matters the most, then everybody should be mimicking California's economy right now because they have like the highest GDP per capita except for DC. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Either that or New York. we would all be mimicking California or New York. And so it's not GDP per capita, but rather it's other metrics. It's the consumer price index, it's the purchasing power of the average dollar. It's like all of these things. And like relative to other countries, we've been winning a war of our dollar being stronger than their currency, and we've been forcing them to use our currency and trade. And that's part of why the trade deficit exists, right? Because we like them using our money. But like the whole thing that the house of cards that falls apart with all of this is that every single American can't afford to live a normal life anymore. And that's because all the other metrics are being ignored. And that's why everybody is upset. It's like it's California's problem is not that it has a low GDP per capita. California's problem is that there's a massive wealth disparity caused by their socialist policies that prevents any middle class from existing. And they're all basically living as serfs that lose more and more every single year. Every generation gets poorer, can own less. It's so pathetic.
Well, and I will also
Yeah.
argue. Oh, sorry.
No, but that's it. It's just an argument that like the average person's lifestyle matters more than whatever metric that you're using. Like even if there's like a bunch of extremely rich people in your country, it doesn't matter if everybody's a fucking serf. People aren't going to be happy or proud of their country when you treat them like they're a fucking serf. That's the end of the end of the day.
And I will argue.
By the way, I
this.
don't know if this was brought up, but RFK is going to be investigating the cause of autism.
I saw that, which that's gonna open a can of worms. But here's another problem with GDP. The U.S. economy, the GDP especially, it's heavily inflated because of government spending. No one talks about that, by the way. We rely on so much government spending to keep the economy afloat, which is not sustainable, by the way. So that's why I'm arguing that the whole, like, yeah, GDP itself, it can be a metric you use, but it should not be your main metric. I mean, government spending is the reason that GDP is so high. It's like, it's the greatest thing ever. But it's like, yeah, but if you have to rely on the government to spend that much money to keep it afloat, is that really a good system? It's like the whole US aid stuff. Like, people are panicking saying, oh, the world economy is going to crash because US aid is dead. What? So US aid is single-handedly keeping the world afloat?
Because haven't you heard? We're the world's police.
But it's like, no, serious question. What's the world economy right now in GDP? Anyone know?
It's like 100 trillion or something. I don't.
100 trillion. U.S. aid is 50 billion. So you're telling me the entire world economy is based off of $50 billion from U.S. aid?
Yep.
110 trillion.
Does no one see the problem with that? Does no one? The one single program is the entire world economy. It's stupid. Just freaking dumb. Dumb. Alright, speaking of government spending, I was watching Jesse Waters' Primetime yesterday, and according to Obama in 2011, you don't need Congress to cut spending. Yeah, back in 2011, Obama was saying, yeah, we could cut government spending without Congress. I can do it right now, without anything.
Of course, he never did, but that's besides the point.
I mean, like, this idea the executive they cannot freeze spending, that is ridiculous. I mean, what's the point of the president then? If he doesn't have any executive powers, what's the point?
To prosecute Trump.
Yeah, basically. Well, speaking of Trump, I know it's very early, but do you guys think he's ever going to pardon himself, or no?
Honestly, probably on his last day of office.
I've been thinking about that lately, because
I think it's an ego thing. I don't think he'll do it.
We'll see, but I just been thinking about that lately. It's like, yeah, Biden pardoned his entire family at the 11th hour. Literally, at the 11th hour, he pardoned everybody. Would Trump do the same?
I think that he would like to think of himself as higher than that. I don't think. I think he would just like take it as a point of pride that he didn't do it, and then whatever happens, happens.
I don't know.
Also, like if a Republican wins in 28, then he doesn't have to worry about that, obviously.
And
if a Democrat wins, then he probably So maybe if a Democrat wins, then he probably pardons himself and his family.
Well, I think when Vance wins in 2028, which again, don't let the Trump quote fool anybody. Vance will be the nominee, unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Vance will probably pardon him day one, I'm guessing. So,
Yeah.
so it's just done and over with. But, anyways, can we finally flip Minnesota to the federal gubernatorial level now that the U.S. aid is gone? Well, I'm curious, like, how much did U.S. aid actually impact things in American elections? I'm curious to see. Because we're going to start...
It may have single-handedly helped Democrats in 2022.
Yeah, it might have. We're actually seeing the first test in Wisconsin, because right now Democrats, they're spending more than Republicans, but not by that much. It's like by a million more.
And they're spending on ads basically calling him a threat to democracy.
Yeah. So, I'm curious. How much did U.S. aid impact elections?
I mean, as of right now, I'm hedging my bets and saying Crawford wins, but
I think it's 50-50 right now. But a lot could change. A lot could change.
it's just turnout. But I think USA probably does help. It probably has a big effect on a lot of elections.
Well, I mean, like, day one that U.S. aid is gone, the UN announced, yeah, we're gonna fire like 1,000 employees immediately because U.S. aid being gone. So I mean, just like how much of this globalist crap was funded by the U.S. aid? I don't think we're really comprehending the scope of this.
Well,
How
I mean, like, the
bad
more
it
important,
was.
how bad it was, but most importantly, is it capable of sustaining itself without being
No.
funded unknowingly by our taxpayer dollars?
I don't think it can, because their entire system was built on it. Their entire system was built on using George Soros as the front guy, but diverting funds away from USA to him. That's how they did it. And I don't think they can do that anymore without taxpayer money. I mean, even Planned Parenthood looks dead. They scrubbed all their social media, which is kind of weird. Why do they scrub all their social media? Planned Parenthood.
They're teasing a major announcement or something. I don't know.
Is that actually the reasoning?
It probably is, to be honest.
I don't know. But
They're acting like a Taylor Swift or Beyonce or something, teasing a new album or whatever.
well, no, it's like a very weird thing. It's like, and like a bunch of like Planned Parenthood places are closing down in Chicago. It's like, wait a minute, how are you shutting down already?
Actually, an album teaser. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe maybe they hired a bunch of pop singers to record a album together to advocate for abortion rights or whatever.
I mean, it is impressive how ridiculously non-profitable these women's health centers are. And if you guys understand, most of the money comes from abortions. And if you're getting, low-income families abortions, and then they're not probably paying for the abortion, so then the question is, where is the abortion money coming from?
USA, ladies and gentlemen. USA and other agencies.
And yeah, and other blatant federal funding, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, if Planned Parenthood is fully defunded by the U.S. government, it's either only going to persist by state governments funding it or by something else. But
Well,
it can't.
I don't think they
own.
can. Just the simple fact that USA spent so much money, and it's these state governments, they can't afford the same amount. Like, yeah, California maybe, but
Yeah, I'm not predicting the whole organization is destroyed, but I am agreeing with you. It's like you're going to see a large percentage of their center shut down.
yeah, because their main fundraising operation's gone. And I hope,
Lila Rose, where are you? You wanted me to not vote for Trump because of babies or something? We're shutting down all the Planned Parenthoods, asshole.
yeah, it's
Well, we
it's
should also
control-
honestly excommunicate Lila Rose from the
we should.
right-wing movement.
This was all Trump was doing. He didn't talk about abortion because he focused on, okay, we're not going to talk about it, but we're going to get rid of the root causes for needing an abortion. And let's start with the fact that Planned Parenthood is gone. That's one way to do it. And now they're cooked. Within a week, they're dead. Not fully dead, but like, they're running out of money. They're closing operations left and right. All the social media platforms are gone for good. It's like, yeah, that's a great sign.
If Planned Parenthood were to completely seize all operations, close all their locations, basically go out of business, the amount of like Democrat outrage, like honestly, Instagram's going to be unusable for weeks.
There might be a January 6th on the left if that happens. Like,
Probably
unironically.
so.
Well, that's the problem. It's like the Democrats, they're picking the wrong fights. They're being dumbasses about it, and now they're getting violent. But yeah, abortion.
Here's something else. This is disgusting. there is a huge Planned Parenthood facility in Houston, absolutely massive facility, fairly close to downtown and the University of Houston. And it's also, I mean, this is in like one of the blackest parts of Houston, like Black Hispanic areas of Houston. So take that as you will.
Wow, we all know. I mean, look up the real. People gotta look up why Planned Parenthood was started in the first place.
I mean, you got areas that are. I mean, it's surrounded by areas that are like 70% Hispanic, 70% Black. You're right next to the University of Houston, where you got a bunch of, probably a bunch of parties and such. And also an incident that happened where a woman was R-worded at, I think, knife point in a parking garage. And the guy that did it was sent to jail and then released.
Bro. But people, if people get curious, people should look up
because Harris County leadership is fucking insane. They're absolutely incompetent pieces of shit.
You know what?
We just elected a Soros DA by the slimmest possible margins last year, when Harris only won Harris County by about 6.
Object Clays Cater for 10. He won't pardon himself. Hopefully by then the corruption is proven by 28, if not earlier. Also, Dems lose more power because he's lost U.S. aid. And issues they supporting the 20% issues that GOP images MAGA. Yeah, we'll get to, speaking of that, there is another fight they're picking that's dumb. Right guy for 2. The Planned Parenthood near me has a BLM sign. Well, again, people should look this up. Planned Parenthood, the one of the people that founded it was a eugenics nut job. And
very racist individual.
Yeah, look at what she said about African Americans. It's not pretty. But that's what she started it for. A eugenics program.
Well, she reminds me of a lot of people on right-wing Twitter. Just right-wing Twitter. Like, I'm not even referring to a certain individual. I mean, there are multiple people like that.
They're nuts.
There's a number of people on quote unquote right-wing Twitter. I don't think these people are really right-wing in the true sense. But like, they go on there and they say these incredibly horribly disgusting things about, preferring certain groups of people die over others if they're going to get abortions. And, it's the same exact thing that the founder of Planned Parenthood believed.
Yeah, that was literally, they're trying too hard to be edgy. It's like, I can handle edgy humor, but it's like, I don't know, like...
well, I mean, that's literally Richard Spencer's view on abortion.
Well, Richard
at least back when he was a white supremacist. Was
he's still kind of racist, but like not like what he used to be.
Is he still a white supremacist despite being
he's still racist and he's still a little bit anti-Semitic, but he's just like a liberal he's kind of racist. That's how I put it. But he still holds like racial views. Like he's not like a liberal on race by any means.
All right, but yeah. So, anyways, there's something that happened last night that I think Trump DOJ should look at. Now, for those that don't know, the Trump DOJ, they magically dropped the charges against Eric Adams. I wonder why. I wonder why they did that.
Oh yeah, now AOC is calling for Hochul to remove him, which she actually can do, by the way.
Yeah. So
Hochul can remove Eric Adams if for whatever reason, and she likely will.
Yeah, so Kathy Hochul, she went on national TV on MSNBC, and she said, yeah, I'm strongly considering getting rid of Eric Adams for enforcing immigration laws. I have a serious question. Why do Democrats think this is a good fight to pick with Trump?
They're stupid.
I'm pretty sure she has the power to remove any mayor she wants.
She does.
Like, of any city, not just New York City, but of like, I don't know, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You know what Trump should do now? Launch investigations into Kathy Hochul. So see what she's been doing behind the scenes. Because you gotta deal with these people. This is utter insanity. So Eric Adams does nothing for years. And they sit back and do nothing. But the millisecond he questions, hey, maybe this immigration policy isn't good, the Biden DOJ throws everything in the kitchen sink at him. And now, Kathy Hochul is saying, yeah, you're enforcing immigration laws, we might get rid of you.
Now, look, Eric Adams was not going to win the Democratic primary anyways. And hell, I think he was thinking of jumping ship to the Republican primary, and he wouldn't win that one either, but so...
He has nothing to lose.
Regardless, he wasn't going to serve another term as mayor.
He has nothing to lose now. at this point. And now the
Yeah.
Trump DOJ, basically they're holding the, I don't know what she's doing. Does she really want to pick a fight with the DOJ right now?
Yeah.
I mean,
She
AOC,
wants to be the one to stand up to Trump and look cool in front of her Democrat donor friends.
I mean, look at AOC now. I mean, I think Tom Homan, he didn't he confirm? Yeah. So Tom Homan went on Fox News last night, and he said that they are done with what the crap the AOC is pulling. Because wasn't she, like, impeding at law enforcement or something?
Yeah, and also AOC wants to be president, so
Yeah. So Tom Homan is saying, this is bullshit. We're going to finally go after them legally. We're going to prosecute AOC and others for impeding on our investigations.
Oh yeah, please. I actually want AOC to be prosecuted, and I want Ilhan Omar to be deported.
Well,
God,
she might now.
please.
They got proof that she lied about her immigration stuff.
She lied about her immigration stuff, and she is instructing illegals on how to escape capture. So yeah, no, she belongs in prison at the bare minimum.
Seems like a very very smart person. Why would you say that? Why?
I don't know.
Do they really think they're above the law?
Well, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes, they.
I mean, in a way, they kind of were, at least when, you know.
Not only do they think they're above the law, they think that if anybody were to try and make them not above the law, they're too spineless and weak to do it. Those are the Republicans they've dealt with all these years, is Republicans that'll never do anything to them. And we still don't know if Republicans will do something to them, but if they do, I'll say Godspeed, because know they deserve to know.
You're going against Trump and frickin' the Pam Bondi. They're not going to piss around with this one. So
yeah, they have to follow federal law, and they're not.
And
speaking of law, we need to talk. I don't know. I mean, like, I can find a way to work around this, but should we talk about what the FBI forwarded yesterday?
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so a really bad thing was going to happen, I believe, in
today.
Indiana. Was it in Indiana today?
Oh yeah. So listen, I can make a joke about this, but just real text explain what happened.
Yeah, let me find the tweet here. Excuse me. So basically, a teenage girl in Indiana. Actually, I think she's transgender. So, I guess YouTube still wants us to use the pronouns. So, this Indiana teenager was plotting a mass S-wording at her high school on Valentine's Day today, which would have been the 7th anniversary of the incident in Parkland, Florida. And the FBI, shockingly, did their job.
I have a serious question. Is this the first time the FBI stopped the shooting from happening before it happened?
Probably not. Probably the first time in a long time. And here's the thing: they're doing it. They're doing it even before Kash Patel gets confirmed.
Yeah. So now we have FBI actually doing their damn job, and not saying, "Oh, they were on our radar." That every time I hear that, I just get pissed off. You're on your radar and you do nothing about it.
So this basically begs the question: how would the Biden or Harris FBI have responded to this?
No comment, because YouTube would probably smite us. But
yeah, I probably don't think I can say it either. But I'll just say they would have done nothing.
Well, I mean, I saw you being real passionate about this yesterday, Texan, and the one thing I'll just add to what you're saying is it's very true. When you think about what we did when we got Donald Trump into office, we didn't just save lives at the border. We saved lives all across the country, because when you have a government that hates you, they don't do the things necessary to preserve your life. And we have a government and possibly a country again that cares about American lives, and that's a wonderful thing we should all celebrate.
Yeah, I'll just say this: Donald Trump might actually, with the new FBI leadership, he might actually be saving lives in schools, in public places.
No.
All right.
And RFK, that'll bring in the whole mental health aspect. So maybe
I don't know how you turn this into a political talking point. You talk to at the coffee shop with your liberal friends, but just say it's like, hey, it feels like that everything's working right now, and I want things to continue working, and I want lives to continue being saved, and that's part of what makes
Now,
me vote for X person.
now is the FBI going to probably be able to successfully stop every one of
No,
these
it's impossible.
incidents from happening? No. These types of incidents are still going to happen, and in large part, I think the damage in that has the damage has already been done by big pharma into our mental health, to basically our mental health. So,
We should bring back
but
asylums. Bring back asylums.
agree.
That is
Yeah.
actually, along with amnesty, like Reagan's actual biggest mistake. Also, gun control. Those are his like 3 big mistakes. And I'm pretty pro Reagan generally. Actually, although he, not necessarily in the modern era in that context, but yeah, he made 3 big mistakes, and that was one of them.
Close
All right,
these silence.
K count for 2. Rap bro, this thumbnail, he's always watching me. Yeah, RFK.
What?
All right.
Why the hell did Reagan close the asylums?
Because it's Reagan. That's why.
Because small government.
All right. If anyone got any more questions, concerns, comments, or just want to support the channel even further, best way is sending super chats now. Last calls for super chats, folks. Last calls for super chats.
I mean, I guess the asylums were somewhat controversial, maybe with like treatment. Because there might have been cases where they were horrifically treating some of their patients.
Yeah, that is true, but also that was the 60s, 70s.
Then just reform it at that point. Don't just get rid of it.
Yeah. Of course, Reagan just so.
I like the way that she mocked it of saying small gooberment, because I know you didn't mean it this way, but I was thinking, like, they are a bunch of fucking goobers, aren't they? Small gooberment.
So true.
All right. So, one more thing.
In Reagan we trust.
We do got some others, like, small, actually pretty significant news before we forget. So, apparently the Pope is in the hospital now. He has bronchitis, so.
Yeah.
Damn. Prayers for the Pope, His Holiness. Hopefully he gets better. Again, you don't have to like him or agree with him, but sucks when people get sick.
Yeah, bring for his help.
Francis is like 90, actually 88 years old.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
But I think he's also like gotten like pretty fat.
Yeah,
and that's a little worrying for his health.
Unless I don't like to speculate, but he's not doing good health wise. He is not.
I mean, I don't expect him to step down anytime soon, but he probably should.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to speculate. I don't like to, but I mean, at some point when it gets that bad, I mean, I don't know. Right. Amnesty, gun control, and closing asylums is the long-term damage by Reagan. Yep, that's the correct take. Exactly. But actually, the gun control stuff, funny enough, Reagan doing that actually did cause, like, the rightward shift on guns, the long run, but anyway.
I guess so. I think a lot of it was also because James Brady probably convinced him to.
Yeah. Mental health treatment needs more support. Oh, I agree. Yeah, bring back the asylums, of course. You gotta reform it, but.
What do y'all think of Trump opening back up Alcatraz as an actual prison?
W.
Be good, yeah.
W. Alright, I think we're on the stream here. Hold on, you guys are talking about the law.
I don't know. I'm kind of mixed with Alcatraz because as it is now, it's basically like a history museum. Well, and it pretty much has been for like several decades now, so I don't know.
How do the Catholics pick a Pope again? Cardinals. Cardinals pick it. Alright, are you guys gonna talk about the law? Oh yeah, the Ohio law the Democrats are pushing.
Oh yeah, it's literally the exact same as the one in Mississippi.
These freaking people, unbelievable. Listen, Republicans should just ignore it. Just don't even consider it. I mean, these idiots, like, it's like you get a fine if you don't.
Hey, Republicans, we have a pro-life bill.
Yeah, what
here.
is it's like if you do the thing.
If you M word and E word, you go to jail.
Yikes! But I think that there's actually doesn't apply to gay people. I think
it doesn't apply to gays. Actually, I don't even think it applies to M wording either, for whatever reason.
So what's the point?
It's Democrats trying to bait Republicans into passing a pro-life bill.
What law? I can't specify, but it's a very interesting law about sexual activity. That's
to oneself, basically.
Yeah, the Gooner law. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It's a Gooner law. That's all it is.
The Coomer.
Coomer, yeah. And it's like you have to like
it's an anti-Kumi law.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you have to have kids. You want to have kids to have sex or whatever. It's like that's not what people are arguing. Whatever. That's left.
I mean, it should be thrown out, but again, Democrats are, you know.
I can't believe it's a. When I first saw that, I was like, okay, there's like a 90% chance a Democrat proposed it, and yep, it was 2 Democrats that pushed it.
The thing is, if when Republicans do accents, Democrats will probably say Republicans had a chance to pass a bipartisan pro-life bill, and they threw it out because they have no principles. They don't care about babies.
Wah, wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah. What's I
Did
gonna
you
say
just
these
say-
people? All right. So, anyways, folks, I think we're on the stream here. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. I think that's it. We'll be back probably next Monday, and yeah, Godspeed.
Drafted by Mark Robinson.
Speed to all of you.
Oh gosh, he drafted by Mark Robinson.
Real jork in politics.
Oh gosh. All right, enough of this. We'll see you guys next stream video.
Godspeed to all of you.
Yep, Godspeed.